Teleportation Magic Box. Let's take a look. So yes, this is the Teleportation Magic Box and welcome to another retro core. This little device here says it's Super Game Box, 9,000 games with 3D games. Alright, taking a look at the back, absolutely nothing. Taking a look at the sides, we get a list of what's in the box. So we've got a color box, it means this. Machine, well, what machine is in there? USB line, well, USB cable I guess. Instructions, certificate, wireless handheld. Oh cool, we get a Game Boy or something in there. Receiver 2, I guess this means controllers, and a HDMI cable and a micro SD card made in China. Let's take a look and see what is in the Teleportation Magic Box. And there we have it. Isn't that a cute little thing? Alright, and on the top of the box here we can see we've got some instructions. Let's take a closer look at those. As we can see, these are instructions on how to connect the wireless controllers. So it looks like some people must have had some issues connecting the wireless controllers to this device, and they've put these instructions on the inside of the box. Talking of instructions, it also comes with these two instruction sheets. So this one basically tells you how to put ROMs onto the micro SD card. Not so difficult. And we have the manual. But the manual is in English and Chinese and doesn't really tell us all that much. So as you can see here, it just gives you a little brief rundown on the functions of the controller and the machine, and then tells you something which is pretty obvious about how the machine works. So let's take a look at the actual content in the box. And first up we have the Super Game Box on the top. And this thing is tiny. Let's just move the box out the way a minute. Look at that. Now I have pretty small hands, and as you can see, this is no bigger than my hands. This is, what, 10 centimeters squared? 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters? Yeah, not very big at all. Got a couple of LED lights on the front there. We've got a micro SD card pre-installed, two USB sockets. I suppose you can connect controllers to those, or are they just for storage? We'll find out later on. We've got an AV out, a SPDIF out, oh that's kind of interesting, HDMI out and the DC in, and nothing on that side. And on the bottom just a generic sticker that says Gamebox Model X5. I'm gonna say it is quite a nice little box. Okay, also in the packaging you can see that we have the dongle there for the controller. Only one dongle, so I'm guessing they both use the same dongle. Let's see what else we got in here. We have the HDMI cable, super light flimsy power brick, a micro SD card adapter so you can plug it into your PC. And the two controllers, and they do feel quite lightweight actually. They don't feel like they got much to them. Let's take a look inside. Alright, well, yeah, they feel, as you expect, quite plasticky and very lightweight. And they do require batteries. Bugger, 2 AAA batteries they require. And yeah, they don't feel too substantial. Yeah, the buttons, I mean, the buttons don't feel too bad, but it feels hollow, if you know what I mean. They're quite clicky, they're quite nice. Proper D-pad, see, you can see if I push this way, that side moves, so they are connected. Typical PlayStation style joypad, don't like those. And we've got some analog sticks which feel okay. Alright, so that is the controller. Oh, and an on and off button on the top there. And just before we move over to the TV, I thought you might like to know that the micro SD card is a 32GB one, and it is pre-installed with ROMs. And it actually has the machine's logo printed on it. And even better, we look on the back, Don't know if you can see that on the video, but the card is made in Taiwan, so it might actually be of decent quality. Oh, and one more thing, I'm sure some people would like to know if the AC adapter that comes with this machine is multi-voltage. And the answer is yes. As you can see, 100 volts to 240 volts, 50-60 Hertz. So it will work in any country. Of course, if you don't live in Japan or America, you are going to need some sort of adapter to plug it into the wall. But you don't need any step downs, which is good. So here you can see we're switching on the console and we get this lovely introduction. Now I have put the console into its original aspect ratio, which is 16:9, but that does cause problems, as you'll see a little bit later on. But the HDMI video out is fairly good, as you can clearly see. And then the intro just switches off just like that. Okay. So I am using the controllers that came with it. I've put some batteries into one of them. And once the machine boots up, you switch on your controller. And in the bottom left hand corner, you can see the two little joypad icons. One of them is now lit up, and for some reason it's put me as player 2. Let me just switch off the controller and switch it back on. And still player 2. Oh well, doesn't matter. So as you can see, the game system has a lot of built-in games. In fact, it has, if we go here, 6,638 games. So let's take a look at the systems. We've got PSP, Naomi, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Arcade, Super Nintendo, Gameboy Advance, Mega Drive, normal Nintendo, Game Boy Color and Game Boy, Neo Geo Pocket and Neo Geo Pocket Color, Game Gear, Nintendo Disk System, and even Sega 32X. And believe it or not, they all work. Oh, and Atari 7800. Now that is an odd one to put on there. But let's start off with a bit of PSP. And as you can see, we have got 20 PSP games built in. And we'll go with a bit of Darius Burst. The only thing that I can complain about is that they are using one of those soft filters, and on some games it does look a little bit blurry, such as PSP here, because PSP's original resolution is quite low. So it does look a little bit blurry, but not too bad. I've seen worse. But yeah, as you can see, it's running at 60 frames per second. Or at least it seems that way. Very smooth indeed. And the sound quality is perfect. There's no glitching, there's no skipping. It's a very good solution to having PSP on your TV. Now it is possible to reset games by pressing start and hitting select twice. So let's try that. Start and select twice, and yes, it resets the machine. Okay, let's try out another game, one that might push the system a little bit more. Here, we'll go with Tekken, see how it handles that.
Get ready for the next battle.
A little bit of a skip there as well, you can hear it. But doesn't look too bad there on screen.
Round one. Fight.
No idea how to play this, never played it before. Seems reasonably well, not too bad. A few little stutters when the stage was loading, but now the game is on, it seems to be okay. Alright, so that's PSP emulation for you. Let's take a look at another system. Okay, now taking a look at another system is where we're going to need to change the screen resolution on the device, because it doesn't matter what you pick, it's always going to be in 16:9. And you know, besides the likes of a PSP, the game should be in 4:3. So we're going to have to change the actual TV's settings here. But that's not a problem, at least not on this TV. So let's see, aspect ratio. We'll just move that to 4:3 and we'll be good to go. Now as you can see, the Sega Naomi stuff doesn't look blurry. And that's because Sega Naomi stuff runs at a higher resolution than what PSP stuff does, so it looks a lot clearer. Okay, this is Slash Out. This is a game I did actually used to own on a real Sega Naomi system. Not a great game, but it's interesting, considering it's still exclusive to the arcades. So let's see how well it moves. In fact, this looks really nice. This isn't blurry at all. Yeah, it's moving just fine. The idea of the game is pretty simple, just beat everything up and get to the exit. Oh man, I forgot about those little intros to the stages. Alright, let's see. Right, got my buttons sorted out now. And yeah, the joypads are not too bad actually. I mean, as far as the D-pad on a Sony style controller can be, not too bad. And the game seems to be working just fine, no problems. Okay, let's move on to Nintendo 64. Now, Nintendo 64 is notorious for not working very well, so let's pick a game that we know is a very speedy game and see how it runs on this. Now, Nintendo 64 usually does give devices like this a bit of a hard time, so it'd be interesting to see how it handles a game like this, a game that should be running very smoothly. Alright, we've got some graphic corruption on the sky there, so that's not good. But the analog controls are working. And it is smooth. Yeah, some graphical issues, see that? The trees are just square. That's not right, is it? Alright, so it looks like they're using an old Nintendo 64 emulator here. But it is smooth. Okay, let's try another game. Okay, this seems to be working a lot better than the Beetle game. Graphics are not corrupted. And we've got analog and digital controls in this game. Yeah, not bad at all, actually. There's a little bit of graphic corruption. You can see some of the textures are not right, but it is fast. Whoops. Alright, we'll give one more Nintendo 64 game a try. We'll go with a classic, GoldenEye. Okay, let's get into the game. And yeah, you can see there's some graphical issues there. See the sky? That is not right. And it is a little bit on the iffy side. But I can confirm that we've got dual analog controls. So I can strafe with the right analog stick there. Oh, and I'm dead. Oh, I'm not. Right, where's fire? Ah, there we go. So yeah, it's good that we can strafe with the right analog stick. That's good. But yeah, we do have a bit of issue with the graphics. They're a little bit corrupt. So yeah, it seems N64 might be a little bit hit and miss. Jeez, it's hard to control this with a PlayStation style controller. Okay, let's move on to PlayStation. As you can see, there are loads of PlayStation games on here. Look at that, that is a big selection. And even some classics too, like the Fireman 2. That's a good game. But, you know, I'm going to check out Sokuku Hentai on the PlayStation's awful. Play it on the Sega Saturn, that's what you want to play that on. Let's go to a bit of Raystorm, see how it handles that. Okay, we're missing the audio, so it looks like this ROM that's on this machine built in is missing the audio files. Cheapskates, just to save on space.
August 4th, 2219.
Okay, so I've got to make it clear, that is not a fault of the device. That is basically just how this ROM has been put on here. They've taken away the Red Book audio files. But the actual game, it's running perfectly fine. Okay, let's try out one more PlayStation game. Oh, by the way, since I'm here, let's see if the save states work. So L and select. Yes, they do. Save states do work, that's nice. Alright, so to do a save state, you press L and select, and to call it back, you press R and select. There you go. So it's good to see save states do actually work. That's chip audio, just in case you're wondering. And notice that it's the Japanese version. Gun as heaven. Yeah, they've taken out the CD audio. Cheapskates. Okay, if you put a PlayStation game on here with the CD audio intact, it's going to play the CD audio. So, that's not such a hardship. You can put your own ROMs on here. It's not a big deal. Just put them into the PlayStation folder. But as you can see, it's playing it just fine. And it doesn't look too blurry either, so that's also good. Alright, let's take a look at some of the arcade games, and there is a ton of arcade games on here. As you can see, I'm going through the list, and just look at that. It's a never-ending list. There's hundreds of arcade games. In fact, there's that many arcade games, it's going to be really difficult to search for them all. So what we'll do is we'll use the search function. Now to use the search function, you just press the Y button on the controller, and we should get the search screen. There we go. Let's see if they got the classic Teenage Mutant... Oops, wrong button. Let's see if they got the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, here we go. There we go. We've got it. And we'll want the arcade one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. That's the one. Let's see how this works. Hopefully it will work really well. Yeah, it's looking a bit like it's got Vaseline all over the screen. Oh, that bit's not glitched. That bit there is usually glitched on these emulation devices. So that means they're using a better version of MAME. Alright, let's get into it. And we can actually choose our turtle too. That's good. Go with Michelangelo.
This is April O'Neil reporting.
Okay, let's get into the actual game. Yeah, good. It's working. This is one that usually has issues, like sound issues or graphical corruption, but no. It's working well. See if we can throw someone to the screen. Maybe not. Now, one thing you might be wondering about when it comes to arcade games is, are the vertical scrolling shoot-em-ups at the right aspect ratio, or are they stretched to 4:3 or 16:9, even worse? Well, let's load one up and find out. Perfect, it's the correct aspect ratio. That is nice. Now let's see if it actually runs without any graphical glitches. Seems to be just fine. That's good. Okay, let's try out one more vertical scrolling shooter. Let's see if we've got Donpachi on here. Or Dodonpachi, even better. It's in the right aspect ratio, but it's the wrong way round. It's vertical, come on. Please don't. Ah, thank God. Thank God. That had me worried then. Okay, we're taking a look at arcade. Let's get out of that and take a look at another system. We're going to go a bit quicker now because we're spending quite a lot of time on these systems. So let's go back to the main menu, and we've got Super Nintendo. Okay, we'll quickly load up a Super Nintendo game. Super Nintendo games, let's see. One that might cause some issues. Let's see what we got. Oh, Appleseed. It's got some, we got a Araikuma Rascal on there as well. We've got quite a few unusual titles on here. Lots of Super Famicom games. Nice. Okay, let's go with Axley. Axley tends to have some issues when running on Super Nintendo emulation. Either it's going to be a bit too slow, or we're going to get graphical corruption on the 3D Mode 7 looking stages. Okay, that's a good sign. The Konami sound was correct. Okay, we got our stereo sound. That's good. Our buttons are configured correctly. That's good to see. And we don't have any graphical corruption. The game is also running at the correct speed. Alright, that's good. Super Nintendo emulation seems good. Okay, let's move on. Next system. Alright, just get straight into the game, and yeah, that's how Doom 2 moves on a Game Boy Advance. That is correct. Ooh, bloody hell. It's a bit hard to play on a big screen. Alright, let's see where we're going. This way, here we go. But yeah, that is how Doom 2 looks on the Game Boy. So we cannot be dissing the way that looks, because that is how it should be. Alright, if it runs that, it's going to run any other Game Boy Advance game, isn't it? So, okay, that's our Game Boy Advance testing done. Alright, let's move on. Next system. Alright, Mega Drive, and again, it like the Super Nintendo selection, this has got some really interesting choices of games, including some new ones. So we've got 16-bit Rhythm Land there that came out in 2020, I believe, or was it 2018? And if we go down to the end, it actually has Xenocrisis or Xenocrisis on here as well. Just look at all those games. That is a lot of games. There's certainly some interesting choices of games on here, including Virtual Racing, but we'll go with Xenocrisis to check out the Mega Drive emulation to see how it handles this. Now, I do actually own the original version of this game, so I'll know if something's wrong straight away. Alright, speech is good. Let's get into the actual game. Sound is correct. This game uses a special sound driver, and that is correct. Sounds good. So the pause there, it does that on real hardware. We got the directional buttons as well, just like we have with real hardware. So that works. Yeah, it looks like Mega Drive emulation is also a good one. But you know what's the ultimate test for Mega Drive emulation, don't you? Virtual racing. Let's give that a try. And as to be expected, it works. No problem at all. Okay, let's stay with Sega and we'll go with 32X. Now I'm going to be very surprised if 32X actually works. We're going to skip Nintendo, Game Boy, Neo Geo Pocket, Game Gear, and Famicom Disk System. They're going to work. Okay, here we go with Virtua Fighter on 32X. If this works full speed, I will be very surprised. Because 32X stuff never seems to work on these Chinese devices. Alright, let's just get into it. I'll go Pi. And I am officially surprised. That is working at the correct speed. Yeah, that is surprising. I didn't expect that. Okay, here we go with Star Wars on the 32X. Let's see how this works.
Stand by to receive orders. Wipe out enemy fighters.
Yep, nice and smooth, just as it should be. Well, I've got to say, I am impressed. I did not expect 32X emulation to actually work, but it does. And just for a laugh, let's take a look at some Atari 7800 games. These are going to work, aren't they? If they don't, there's something definitely up. Alright, let's take a look at these. That's a bit of a messed up Atari logo. Come on. Never played this. No idea what it is. Looks like an Operation Wolf type ripoff. Where's the enemies? Oh, there we go. Jeez. Makes the Sega Master System look high-tech. It works though. Alright, let's head on over to the table and I'll give you my verdict on this machine. So there we have it, the Super Game Box, a very capable little tiny device. Now, it is a little bit disappointing that Nintendo 64 didn't work as well as we expected, but the games did seem to run full speed, and the ones that didn't seem to work were mainly due to graphical corruption, but they were still playable. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really too bothered about Nintendo 64 anyway, so for me, that's not a deal breaker. I mean, we've got PSP, PlayStation, Sega Naomi, Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, a whole host of other systems and arcade games that work really, really well. So yeah, I'm happy. Now, one thing I'm not too happy about are these USB ports here. Now you'd expect, because it's got 2 USB ports in, you could use standard USB controllers, but I tried all of these controllers over there. And as you can see, we have official PlayStation 4, Hardy PlayStation 4, some third-party PlayStation 4 controller, none of them worked. We've got 8-bit DOE controllers, they didn't work even with official 8-bit DOE controller adapters. We've got Sega USB controllers, Xbox controllers, and even a DualShock 3 controller. And none of them would work on this system. But what did work was the controller that came with it, which kind of looks like a DualShock 3 or DualShock 2. Now, I did say that that was pretty nasty and hollow feeling, and it is hollow feeling, but it does work better than I expected it to. And these 2 controllers are actually analog, they're not digital, and they do work independently of each other, so that is a good thing. And the buttons are responsive, it's just that it feels light and hollow. But yeah, could be worse. Now there must be a way to get other controllers working on this, but I'm not sure. Maybe with a firmware upgrade, or maybe there's some sort of a hack for it, I don't know. But as it stands, yeah, we got to use these controllers that come with it. One thing that some people might be happy to know, the spit it out actually does work. I tried it, it works, so that is surprising. Not sure why they put that on there, because you get HD audio through the HDMI. Another thing that's a slight letdown is the fact that it doesn't auto choose resolutions. It's in 16:9 as default, but most good TVs have a 4:3 option, so you can select that. What also was good is that the main vertical scrolling shooters are in the correct vertical scrolling aspect ratio, so that is a good thing. Alright, so that is the Super Game Box X5. I recommend it. Link in the video description down below. Check out the link if you want to buy one of these devices. We'll be back next time here on RetroCore with more hardware reviews. So until then, take it easy guys and enjoy your games. See ya!